ladies and gentlemen, fans and friends of the fight game. It is Larry Doom here. And it's a nice night. Figured I'd talk about one of my favorite fighters who has a fight coming up. You know who I'm talking about by the thumbnail of this video. It definitely is Sergey Pavlovich, the Hammer, the Russian Bear, the Monster, the Warrior, the Revenant, the One, the Chosen One. You know what I'm saying? Not unlike Tyron Woodley, whose nickname is the Chosen One. Pavlovich is about to fight soon. Not soon, but he has a fight coming up against Volkov. I think Volkov's last win was against Bam Bam Tuivasa, in which I think he submitted Tuivasa, but that's a different story in a previous video about my disappointment in Tuivasa. But anyway, I'm very excited for this fight. I love Pavlovich. Very devastated by his loss against fucking Tom Aspinall. Hated that so much. Such a depressing night. Still have the record of the recording of the live stream on TikTok. It was terrible. Terrible memory. It was very sad. I sat in darkness in the corner of my room for a little bit. Had to do that same thing I had to do for fucking the Volkanovski loss against Saporia. It's just a painful moment. I'm very excited for this fight. This is Pavlovich's comeback after being, flatlined against Tom Aspinall, which I was very surprised about. But that's what you get when Pavlovich walks out there with zero footwork and zero head movement. And just, his only game plan is to just, he boxes well, but his only game plan is to hit Tom with something nasty, hopefully. And, I guess just apparently fight through leg kicks. Like he'll get kicked in the leg, but fight through the pain of leg kicks, It was very sad to watch. Tom Aspinall was getting them leg kicks in early. And, there were a couple exchanges. Tom did get tagged once in the fight. I think Pavlovich caught Tom with a couple punches, but Tom ate him. And then, it came down to that final exchange in which, Tom threw, I think it was a couple down the pipe and then fall with a right or something like that. But he caught Pavlovich, and Pavlovich went down. Very sad moment. But I'm excited. I see another first round finish against Volkov. Volkov, very impressive fighter. He was able to submit Tuivasa, which isn't like a huge feat, but at least he doesn't really fucking suck that bad. So I still don't see it being a competitive fight. I see Pavlovich putting this thing out early and then, making a U-turn for the belt again. He's not going to, get it after this one win against Volkov. It's going to take maybe, I'd say, 2 more wins or one very strong, convincing win, because the heavyweight, the fucking heavyweight division right now is not that, not that competitive. It goes John Jones, Tom Aspinall, and everyone else, really. And then Tom's fighting Blade soon, but Tom's going to win that, of course. Anyway, that's unrelated to this video. This video, we're mainly sticking to Pavlovich, who is a very big guy, very hard puncher, one in that 6-fight win streak, knocking out big names like Tai Tuivasa, like Curtis Blades, and, mowing through him. I see him mowing through Volkov, mowing through a couple other heavyweight fighters that he may be put up against, and heading straight for that belt again. He'll likely fight Tom Aspinall, because there's no one else that can really beat Tom except for John Jones. And I see it being very unlikely that John Jones fights Tom Aspinall at all. I see John fighting Stipe, and then throwing his gloves in the fucking octagon and retiring. And when he does retire, he'll retire as the greatest fighter to ever fight in the UFC. But anyway, yeah, I don't see anybody else stopping Tom. Cyril sure as hell fucking won't. Curtis Blades definitely will not. And yeah, and that new Despain guy too, probably not going to beat Tom. But I have faith that Pavlovich will beat Tom in his second go-round, because he's made his mistakes. He's realized his mistakes. He's realized the footwork change he needs to make. He's realized the head movement change he needs to make. And he's realized his need to sit on punches, to control range, to watch the leg kicks, minimize the wrestling, minimize the grappling, work on that takedown defense, and, find Tom's chin, because Tom does have his chin up when he's in exchanges. And even though he did in the last fight and Pavlovich wasn't able to catch it, I feel like with some hard work and with some patience and with some good head movement and elusiveness, I feel like Pavlovich will be able to find Tom's chin within the later rounds. I feel like him against Tom is the only Pavlovich matchup right now that I see going, to the final round. And I feel like in those final rounds that Pavlovich will be able to find Tom's chin and get the belt that he so rightly deserves, but wasn't able to get in his first run for the belt. I have very high belief in this dude. I first started hearing about him when all the John Jones haters on Twitter were just, fucking just riding this guy's dick about, him being able to beat John, just as everybody does whenever there's any new and impressive fighter. They always go for the greatest fighter and just take a huge shit on them. And it's a really annoying thing. And it opens my quick segue into the fact, the undeniable fact about UFC fans, because you can analyze the sport game, or the fight game, and the entertainment industry, and you can analyze and compare the certain fan groups of certain sports. You got your soccer fans, you got your basketball fans, and they could talk about basketball. They won't bring race into it, or a general hatred for a certain group, or insecure little comments. It's only UFC fans. It literally is only UFC fans, and maybe fans of the fight game in general. But I don't really see boxing fans go that low at times. And I could bring up examples, but if I was to bring up examples, this video would probably be taken down by YouTube, because there are some terrible examples on Twitter. I say all this to finally say that, UFC fans are the worst fans ever. Me being one of them, I can say this, although I do have at least a modicum of respect for people. A lot of UFC fans don't, not for up and coming, UFC commentators on YouTube, not for women, not for minorities, not for anything. I'm a conservative male. I'm not very woke. I'm not very pro, marginalized people. I'm not very progressive. But I at least have some respect for people. A lot of UFC fans, and UFC fans especially, can be just so nasty, and it's very, very sad to see. But I'm also not surprised, because it is the fight game. It is bloody. It's fighting in general. It's an ugly thing. It can be entertaining to watch. It can be enticing and fun at times, but it is very ugly. Bones get broken, people bleed, and there's a lot of insecurity and self-hatred and all this, BS. But anyway, I'll switch off back to the Pavlovich thing. I had to get that out really quick, because I've been dealing with a couple of haters so far on YouTube, but I'm trying to make my mark. But if you have those hate comments, let them rip, because I'll be there to respond. It's fun for me, So do your worst. But anyway, back to the Pavlovich thing. Very excited for this fight, for his fight against Volkov. I'm a huge, huge, huge Pavlovich fan. I wasn't at the time when there were so many, John Jones haters writing his meat about, him being able to beat John Jones and all this, BS. But after, watching the previous fights he's had during that win streak, after watching him starch those big names, I couldn't help but root for him against Aspinall, who I also like. I like Tom Aspinall. I don't hate him. But I do like Pavlovich more. I consider him to be more entertaining, and I like the way he knocks people out. He's just a really fun guy to watch, and I don't know, I'm a big fan. So I look forward to his fight against Volkov. I see him wiping the floor with Volkov and taking Volkov out of there in round 1. And he'll need a couple more fights to get back to another chance at the belt, which I do see happening against Tom Aspinall, because I don't see Tom Aspinall getting dethroned anytime soon unless Pavlovich gets the next shot. That'll be all for this video. Got a lot more coming soon. Bottom line, Pavlovich awesome. UFC fans, I'm one of them. I could say this. Anyway, love you guys. Fuck you.